Well, hello again, everybody. Today is the day. As we sit here in the Maestro, we're getting prepared to go for the MOT. The car is now all prepped and ready to go. Let's pop the phone in the phone holder and let's go get started. Well, okay, folks, it's MOT time. We're going on the first proper drive on the roads in the Maestro. Now, I'm sorry if the camera ends up shaking a little bit. I've only got a phone holder mount that sucks onto the windscreen to do this with. So that'll be the reason that there's a little bit of movement. But obviously, with all the work we've now done to the car, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't pass an MOT, personally. As we're going down my drive, the suspension is feeling nice. It's feeling tight. It's got a good amount of float to it as well, as I'm always used to with the Maestros, especially as this was a suspension from my last Maestro that I fitted to this. Onto the main road. Driving through my village for the first time ever, and properly driving to an MOT for the first time in 20 years, basically. Now, this vehicle last had an MOT in 2003, and then shortly after that is when I believe it all got parked up and stood up. So, as I said, for having sat this long, so far the way it drives is nice. Actually, it's driving like a normal car. The handbrake is using the handbrake to slow us down, and that's slowing us down good there. And there is some kind of strange traffic jam happening ahead with a crane that I can't really show you, rather annoyingly. Yeah, nobody can get by. We're up to 30 miles an hour now in fourth gear, the highest gear that this car has, and we're feeling pretty good. Horn is working, lights are all working. I've gone over and checked all the lights, I've checked all the levels, I've checked everything. I had the car running for a few minutes before I drove off as well to start getting it warmed up. The engine is feeling good. Oh, you can tell that fourth gear is a little screamy. We're doing 50 miles an hour at the moment, and it sounds like it's begging for a fifth gear that doesn't exist. So we're getting up to temperature. There is no overheating or anything like that. The car's running great. It's not sputtering, misfiring, anything like that. Yeah, so far the first impressions of this car out on the road are pretty good. It's comfortable. My head's a little bit on the ceiling though, which is, well, that's what you get for being 6'4", I suppose. Well, we're heading into a sweeping corner now. The lack of anti-roll bars do show. Oh, it's such a laugh. That was at 30 miles an hour and I'm almost in the passenger seat. Okay, let's see what happens when we take a right-hander. Oh, love it, love it, love it. It is like sitting on a floaty armchair, this. This is definitely a very comfortable car to be in and comfortable car to drive. We're just about to pull into the MOT test station. So what I'll do is I'll come back to you once the MOT test is finished, and we'll see if we have a pass or a fail. Well, the good news is the car passed the MOT. We only had a few small advisories on it, which was a little bit of rust on the wheel arches, surface rust, as we know it's got, as I haven't treated that yet. And also the dust covers on the rear shock absorbers are insecure, which is something I can sort out as well. So it is a couple of hours actually since I've had the MOT done. Reason being is I then went back and changed the coolant because I had a coolant leak coming from the heater matrix, as I mentioned in the first video that I did going over the car and talking about the problems that needed to be fixed to get it ready and roadworthy again. And I hadn't done that yet, and as it was sitting at the MOT station having its MOT, I could see that it was seeping out and slowly leaking more coolant onto the carpet. So I very quickly took care of that. I took off the actual pipe from the heater matrix and I put some kind of blue RTV around everything where the seals were, because the seals had gone and you just can't get the seals for this anymore. It's something you can't find. They're completely out of stock at Rimmer Bros. But touch wood, so far I've RTV'd it and no leaks at all, and it's resistant to coolant apparently, so I don't think there'll be any problems there. I also changed over some of the radiator hoses that I had from the last Maestro because they were in better condition. I haven't done the thermostat yet on it because it's half mounted to the engine mount, and yeah, I'll just like, oh, it's fine. The thermostat's clearly working, it's not a problem. So I'll do that at a later date because I also then want to do one of the lower hoses I couldn't easily access. So yeah, that took me about an hour to do in total. and now the car is ready for its kind of first proper road tripping. I've checked over all the levels, I've done the tyre pressures, I have done the suspension. All I've really got to do, which I will probably do over Friday perhaps, is just get underneath it and do a double check of the bolts. I've got a torque wrench on order that I'm waiting for, and when the torque wrench arrives, I'll be able to just check the tightness of all the bolts and make sure everything is torqued up to spec in the Haynes manual that I have. And then, as far as I'm concerned, even though we've got some cosmetic stuff to do now, and just a couple other bits, I haven't done the tappets on the engine yet, which it needs doing, it's pretty much ready for trips. On Friday, I'll be taking my first kind of longer trip, so to speak. I'll be doing about 45 minutes each way on a journey, going out for dinner with my wife, and that'll give me a good chance to see how it is. But yeah, I've lubricated the bushes and linkages and things like that, so I'm feeling pretty confident at the moment. So a bit of a shorter video today, going over the fact that it has indeed passed its MOT. There is still more content to come on the car as well, but I've got some more vehicles. I recently bought 2 more cars. I bought a new daily driver to replace my Mazda 2, and I bought another classic car which I wasn't planning to buy, but the offer was there and I couldn't say no. So we're going to be doing some videos on those soon, but I've got a couple of small repairs I have to do to them before I can actually make videos on them, basically, as they both kind of don't work at the moment. Well, there you go, folks. There's the problem. That's why the bloody wheel went in. The rear suspension armour's torn, snapped. Look at my I think I'm going to have to replace that tyre, rather annoyingly. So this is the worst area. A little crusty holy boy, probably a bit too close to the spring hanger here. It's a little pushy uppy round here. Oh god. Yeah, I do pick 'em. I do indeed pick 'em. But for now, that is the video done. I'm going to start driving this thing some more, putting a few miles on it, putting it through its paces, and just, yeah, enjoying the car. So until next time, as always, my name is Will. This is Tatty Old Cars, and I'm enjoying a nice summery evening drive in my Maestro that's been off the road for nearly 20 years. Ah, what a good feeling.